I'm building a business and I'm really scared. I thought I'd build in public, take you on the journey with me, the ups, the downs, the what I don't knows, the what I do knows, and see if you can help me with it. And just to show you what I think is actually an interesting point of view from someone who's never done it before, someone who's never done anything like this, to someone that hopefully will launch a successful business. But let me help you understand just a tiny bit about me. I started creating content about 3.5 years ago, and I started on LinkedIn just actually for job security. I'd been working at Yelp for about 6 months. I was really enjoying it. And I was worried that in the future, if something went wrong, I would find it difficult to get another job as good as that. So I thought to myself, what can I do about this? And I thought, okay, I'll build myself a brand. I'll start posting content on LinkedIn, which was at the time I thought, and I think still is, the obvious choice for doing that if you're doing it for the reasons that I initially did it for, right? And after a couple of years, I built up a relatively strong audience. I'd got to around 50,000 followers on LinkedIn. I'd started to create a newsletter, which had about 5,000 subscribers at the time. Everything was going quite nicely. And actually, I didn't know what to go from there. My online content had evolved from being job security to actually I really enjoy helping people, for one, because I get really good feedback. I got messages from people saying that helped, but also, could I make something of this? And it's the typical content creator's dilemma, that how do I actually make something out of this without diluting myself or stretching myself too thin, or more importantly, becoming less genuine? Because I believe a lot of the creators who do make it a bit bigger, it's because they're genuine. They don't just copy and paste other people's posts or anything like that. They actually bring some of their personality, some of their own stories into it. And I think this resonates with people. And some of the key thing that creators worry about is losing that connection with the audience that they've built. In our industry, in the tech industry of software engineers, you're not you're not speaking to no fools. They're going to see straight through it, and they're going to call you out on it. After a while of doing this and thinking to myself, how do I do this? Actually, the opportunity fell on my lap. I started speaking to another creator who's actually a principal software engineering manager at Microsoft, and his name is Nick Cosentino. And he does courses for software engineers on a platform called Dometrain. Now, Dometrain is run by Nick Chapsis, who is a big YouTuber, an incredible person, and he runs this big platform called Dometrain, which is focused predominantly on .NET courses for software developers to help you skill up, learn, just generally become better engineers. I had heard of Nick Chapsis before, and this is someone that you think, "Oh, I'm never going to get to work with someone like that." And Nick Cosentino actually floated past the idea to me of, hey, Nick's looking at doing some career courses. Why don't you join me on this to see if actually this is something that you and him would be interested in? And after a few talks, early last summer 2024, we actually thought, okay, this is a good idea. Let's start working with Dometrain. Let's start working with Nick, and let's start putting some really good courses out there, some really good content that I saw as, and still see as, a huge value add to that platform. These career courses that we've built are great, and I've done 5 of them now. Some with Nick, some by myself, but ultimately I put a lot of effort into them, and there's something I'm really proud of. My work on Dometrain is something I'm really proud of. And actually being part of that Dometrain community is something that I really cherish. Nick Chapsis is great. All the other authors are great. It's a really rewarding experience. They really look after you there. It's a premium platform where they only host the best content. So it seems mad that I wanted to branch out and do something on my own then, if it's such a good life over there. Why do you want to do something on your own? And for me, it's the what if would always be more of an emotion than the win of being comfortable. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it does to me anyway. So ultimately, my passion was in leadership, in people, in management, and ensuring that you can be safe at work and great leaders, and we can build high performing teams together. That's the stuff that I'm interested in. That's the stuff that really drives me day to day, is doing that sort of thing. And that's the stuff that attracts me to my day job. And coincidentally, that's the stuff I actually write about. So I actually thought there's actually a real gap in the market for a platform which teaches people to be better leaders. And I don't mean just like a newsletter, because there are some huge ones that do that really well at the moment and they're thriving. And for me to compete with them wouldn't actually be genuine to myself, because it's not something I don't think I'm massively interested in. So for me, my vision is to create a platform for people to become better engineering leaders. Now, this platform will have several things. It's going to have courses. We're going to have some flagship courses which are longer in length, which are multiple hours, and then we're going to have several additional courses, which might be a 30-minute quick course or a 45-minute quick course, just for you to get really quickly up to speeds on the basics of a certain topic. As well as courses, we're going to have interviews. And what I don't mean is like a podcast. It is going to be me sitting down with other engineering leaders, and I've got a great list in mind. I still need to reach out to some people, but I've got a great list in mind for that. And it's going to be quick, but really focused sessions. So think 10 minutes, think 15-minute interviews with people, but they're going to be on really specific subjects. It's going to be really getting to the point of what you need to learn in those videos to give you actionable takeaways. So, as well as courses, as well as interviews, we're going to have resources, downloadable resources for you, your teams, your peers to use to be better engineering leaders and to do a multitude of other things. What they are, I don't know at the moment. As I said, I'm still working this out. I'm still new to this, but that's the plan. And the last thing we're going to have, if you're a paid subscriber, is a community. So I don't actually know what this means yet. So does this mean on Slack? Does this mean on Discord? I don't know. It won't be on Teams, but it might be on the other two. I actually don't know what that entirely means yet and how it's going to look. But this is this whole process, right? And this is how you're going to come with me on this journey in building this thing. And this video and doing these series of videos about, okay, build my business with me and me posting about it actually helps me to be accountable. When I first started this, I really did think that it was going to be much simpler than it is. It's going to lot less work than it is. I thought I'd create courses, put them on some random course platform website that I'd build, and that'd be it, really. There's stuff that I've really been exposed to by myself before. Obviously, I've been exposed to it working in several companies, but not by myself. So thinking about like email campaigns and email funnels through sales channels, pricing strategies, and branding and marketing. Not only that, but it's actually positioning and understanding competitors. There's a lot of that and understanding my place in it. So one of the things I was struggling with was, okay, do we make this a premium offering in terms of really great content, or do we make this, okay, let's put loads on there and see what sticks? And actually, I wouldn't be happy if I wasn't doing something that I thought was amazing. So I'm going to go more down the premium end. So I now know for example, my setup isn't good enough. I need to buy a better monitor. I need to buy a better computer for editing, which I'll take you through in another video when we'll work it out together, right? What I'm going to get. But that's just some of the things that I have to think through. And it's okay, things like pricing strategy, right? You might have an idea now in your head based off research and competitors and what you're happy with, but it might get to the point down the line that after you've created all this content and stuff, that might completely go out the window because of any reason. You might see much more value or actually less value in what you've done compared to what you originally thought. So I'm going to try and release with 2 flagship courses. I'm going to try and have like 10 deep dive interviews, and I'm going to try and have a bunch of resources around all of those. I've still got so much left to do. I've got branding. I've got think about sales funnels. So much more. I can't off the top of my head now. It just goes blank, honestly. Pricing strategies. I've got to create like a wait list, for example, and then work out that wait list and like what questions do I have about like wanting to get enough information versus asking people for too much and privacy things and stuff like that. So that's all to come, and that will all be in future videos. And I'll take you through the branding and stuff like that as I go through it and creating the website and the platform and stuff. I just try to be as vulnerable as I can because I'm super scared about this. I'm super nervous, but for me, I know the what if will always be stronger than any comfortable position. I think I've had a great run of luck, honestly, in getting to a position where I am, where I can even contemplate doing this, and I have actually a little bit of an audience to start it off on. But I think now I've got to try and really push myself and do something for myself that fulfills myself. And I think bringing you all along for that journey as I build this would actually be a really fun thing for me to do. Thanks for watching.